Good morning. My name is Claudia Knafo, and I live in Manhattan. I'm a concert pianist, and 2 years ago I would have never imagined I'd be here speaking before you. But I had the misfortune of falling victim to a sequence of out-of-network medical surprises, which changed my life dramatically and has faced me in a new world that I knew very little about. On April 24th, 2012, after undergoing emergency cervical spine surgery, I had every reason to believe that this surgery was an in-network service. Instead, it subjected me to claims for payment from both provider and insurance, totaling nearly $101,000. The situation arose out of misrepresentation that the surgeon was in my plan's network, my health plan retroactively applying a new reimbursement method for what I determined to be an out-of-network service. I have received recommendations for neurosurgeons at 3 different hospitals in Manhattan. The one highest recommended was out-of-network, and I knew that that was not an option. After 3 different consultations, I opted for the hospital I've used in the past, where most of my in-network physicians are. The referring neurologist, who was in my health plan, had raved about a particular neurosurgeon at the same institution. This surgeon is listed as a clinical professor and allegedly under my plan as well. My initial consultation was booked for April 5th, 2012. I did my due diligence. I researched this physician, I read the reviews on the web, I made sure he was in-network by checking the hospital's website, using the telephone physician referral system, and contacting the hospital's patient coordinator in the neurosurgery department. All 3 confirmed that this surgeon was in-network. On April 5th, I met the surgeon and signed surgical consent forms. I gave my insurance card to the office manager, who made the usual photocopy. When I asked about my copayment, she replied that they would bill the insurance directly. It seemed a bit unusual to me, but I didn't think to question it because of my prior research. Nobody ever quoted a price for the surgery, and I didn't expect they would because I believed that he was in-network. On May 18th, nearly a month after the surgery, I received from my insurance company a check made out to me for $66,891.78. I immediately called my insurance company to find out why the check was in my name. I was told that the physician had dropped my insurance in 1997. I was also told to endorse the check to the doctor immediately, as did the doctor's office when I contacted them. I did just that in total fear. I also asked the office manager why they hadn't told me that the doctor no longer accepted my insurance, and I was told, quote, not to worry, they would work with my insurance company. 2 weeks later, on the 5th of June, I received the first bill for the surgery, $101,000. This was the first time I was told the procedure's cost. Since the check only covered part of this cost, I was left with a balance bill of $34,433.22. A note following urging me to appeal to my insurance for the remaining money. The doctor's office, quote, it has been the experience of this office if an insured aggressively requests a review of benefits provided, additional benefits will be forthcoming. They have prepared a letter for me to sign, which argued that the reimbursement was too low for the complexity of my surgery. Of course I signed it, because I was terrified that the doctor would come after me for the balance if the insurance wouldn't cover it. 3 weeks later, on July 24th, I got an answer from this appeal. The claim had been processed erroneously. My group policy apparently reimburses at 140% of the Medicare fee, rather than 70% of the usual and customary rate. This means that after non-network coinsurance was applied, the insurance's coverage amounted to $3,510.19. They demanded a return of the $66,000 before they would even consider reprocessing the new reimbursement for the physician. Since I had signed the check over to the doctor, there was nothing for me to return. I called the doctor's office urgently, trying to get them involved in the dispute. They did not help. They practically hung up the phone on me. They said, contact your local government. My blood pressure hit the roof as I saw my family's exposure go up to $97,489.81. On July 24th, 2012, I received first of many collection notices from the insurance company. This lasted through November 12th, once things were finally resolving. I filed complaints with the Department of Financial Services and the Office of the Attorney General. In reply to these inquiries, the company stated that the problem rested from the surgeon's misrepresentation of his status and not with them. Further, I was scolded for picking an out-of-network physician. Never mind the research I had done prior at the time, a screenshot of the hospital's webpage still listed him as accepting several private insurance plans, including Medicare. On September 18th, my doctor received a letter from the Attorney General's office asking him to accept a negotiated fee since he did accept Medicare. The letter also reminded him that he listed my insurance on the hospital's webpage. The next day, the page no longer listed my insurance. However, one other insurance company was still listed, and I remained so until I brought it to the attention of the Attorney General. On October 3rd, I received an apology from the hospital. I quote, "for the undue stress caused by the inaccuracy of the website. Though it promised to review its website information more frequently, the hospital took no responsibility over my doctor and his information, and that the situation was a complex one. To this day, I have yet to get a straight answer as to who the responsible party is for the accurate information on those websites. The spring into the fall were immensely stressful, as anyone can imagine. I was concerned that to get through this, I was going to have to declare bankruptcy. My husband and I even talked about divorcing to separate and protect our assets. It felt like my family and I were being used as pawns in a chess game between insurance and doctor. It was also infuriating that neither wanted to address each other directly, and all liability seemed to rest on my family's shoulders. Because I could no longer take this stress, I hired a brilliant lawyer. Ironically, my post-operative instructions had been to cancel all recitals and to keep my neck in a neutral position for 2 months. I never had a chance to recuperate, as I spent hours a day writing at the computer letters of appeals and grievances. My lawyer initiated further appeals, but the matter was not resolved before the end of November, when in desperation I wrote directly to Superintendent Benjamin Losky and other high officials at the Department of Financial Services. Their response was immediate. Within 24 hours, my insurance company called to me that I would be taken out of collections and my debt forgiven. Looking back, I am one of the lucky ones. I was not facing a life-threatening illness. After many stress-filled months, I was able to protect my family from a potential medical bankruptcy. After this experience, friends and friends of friends and strangers started sharing their medical bills with me. I had entered an entire new world, new profession of trying to help my friends with similar situations. One person had a $20,000 plastic surgery bill from a visit to the ER for sewing up his finger because the on-call plastic surgeon just happened to be out of network. Another person had knee surgery performed in a surgical center, and she was never informed that the facility was considered out of network despite the physician being in network. New Yorkers deserve a system in which patients get accurate, up-to-date information about the network status of their doctors and about what they have to pay for medical care. We deserve to be safe from huge financial liability when we do end up getting surprised out-of-network bills. The insurers and the doctors should have to resolve disputes directly with each other without involving the patients. There should be some independent state agency we can turn to resolve these disputes. I understand the governor's proposed bill will provide all these protections that I do not have, and I passionately support it.
This land is your land, and this land is my land, from the California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went